Wait.
We
Every
are
live, we are live. Every live begins with, "Are we live?"
Yes. We're constantly existential. Are we live?
Yeah,
Are we
are we live? What is this? Okay, awesome. Let's give everybody a couple of
minutes
seconds
to
to
join?
join. Yeah. I'm just going to go to our channel and see
What's
what's going
cooking?
on. What's cooking? How are you, Sharon? All good?
I'm fine.
How was
I'm
your
fine.
epic road trip?
Oh my God, I am dying to take another road trip. Do you want to go with me? I'm now planning
Yeah.
to go from Bombay to Bangalore to Kochi to Kanyakumari to Chennai and back like that. I want to do the triangle. I
Wow,
want to
that's
try
very
and see if I can do it slightly solo because it's a little scary but exciting at the same time.
that's awesome. Why is there one? Oh, 1 second.
What happened?
1 second. Public. Save changes. Why is there? There is a Sharon Bhatti's personal meeting room streamed 10 hours ago. What?
Oh no, that was me. That was just me talking to myself. Yes, that happened earlier this day.
What
Nobody
are
was
you
supposed
doing, child? What are
uh,
you doing?
just I just missing our channel, so I thought some cozy time would be nice.
Cozy time. I really hope your cozy time was PG-13. I wouldn't
Now
want us
we
to.
will never know, will we? We will never know.
Okay, awesome. We are live and we are public. And Smriti has already joined the stream because Smriti is Smriti.
Hi, Smriti.
Hi, Smriti. Hi, Sanya. Noise bangs on your thanks. Thanks, everyone. Okay, let's wait for people to join. Until then, maybe we can explain the amazing stories behind our names.
Oh,
Um,
sure. Why
yeah,
not? Why don't you start with?
I'll just start the video. I'll just start it. So, hello everybody. Hi, we are all good. Amya, Smriti, Sanya, we're great. Welcome to another crazy Friday night
Oh,
with the
true,
books on.
Ankita.
Yeah, with the books on toast ladies. My name is Anuya, and we have this other woman with us. We'll ignore her. Who cares
I'm
now?
waxing gibbous. I'm very waxing.
Yes, and today we are here to celebrate, to talk about one of the buzziest books in the literary fiction circuits in India. And the name of that book is The Laminated. I'm just joking, friends.
Yes.
You know, yeah. It's The Illuminated. Hey, how your cover's different than mine?
I got a different copy. Then my other copy came to Chandigarh. And I left it there, but it's okay. It's mine is privileged copy.
Yeah. So the name of the book is The Illuminated, which is why I am the illustrated and Sharon is waxing gibbous, which is not an ape. Sharon, do you want to explain why your name is waxing gibbous?
It is a phase of the moon, guys, and what I love about the Illuminated, which we will get to talking about more during the duration of this video, hopefully with the author. But
At some
basically,
point.
all the chapters are the phases of the moon. Okay, and waxing gibbous is one of them. When it is 50% illuminated, and I read it, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know about this phenomenon. Now I must know everything about it, and now I feel like I'm a waxing gibbous. I'm 50% illuminated. The other 50% is just me.
It's just illuminated. Is
Yeah.
lamin. I'm gonna, yeah. So, guys, there's something very special happening with today's video, and that special thing is that we are going to be giving away 2 copies of the Illuminated to our audience, and especially to the people who engage the most with us. We'll be asking 2 questions. The first question is I'm going to keep repeating them throughout, so don't worry. But the first question is what are the names of the 2 protagonists in the book The Illuminated by Anindita Ghose? And the second question is what is the full form of, what is it? MSS, not
What is the
MMS.
full form of MSS?
Yeah,
Not
but
MSM or
or
MMS.
MMS. Yeah,
Yeah.
but MSS.
MSF.
So please leave the answers in the comment section. And I think now we should stop talking and we should get to it. Sharon,
Yes.
shall we?
Okay. Let us bring our guest onto the show. Otherwise, it's just going to be two of us talking about Illuminated. We should
Yeah.
get the author to be part of this discussion. So we'll wait for her to join in, and then I will introduce her formally.
Hi everyone. Very happy to be
Hi.
here.
So good to have you here with us, Ananta. Thank you so much for taking out the time and spending an illuminated evening with us and our audience.
Yes, and now I feel more part of the Books and Toast team because I too have a moniker next to my name, like the two of you. It's not as fun as the Illustrated and Waxing Gibbous. It's
Yes.
just the name of the book, but I feel more part of the scene right now.
Yeah, that's good. It's always good to feel a part of the scene rather than outside. Absolutely.
Anandita, in order to truly become a member of the Books on Toast team, you have to make at least one really terrible joke. Like it has to be bad. Okay, don't worry. You have 45 minutes.
I'll try to be I'll try to think of a bad one.
I mean, you've written on a literary fiction book and all, but none of that matters unless you can crack a pun. So,
You set the standards quite high, guys. Your standards for bad are very high. So I'll try my best.
Okay,
Awesome.
let me introduce you guys to Anandita. If you haven't read of her or read her work or heard of her or read about her book or read her book, now is the time that you'll get to know everything. Okay. So Anandita is, I will read out what the press has sent me. Anindita Ghose is a writer and journalist based in Mumbai. She was previously the editor of the Saturday magazine Mint Lounge, which happens to be my favorite weekend newspaper. In fact, the Mint Lounge has bred so many authors. There is Manu S. Pillai, whose columns became a novel. There's Natasha Badwar, I think, whose columns also became a novel. And Anandita went ahead and wrote a fiction novel, which is great, which is brilliant, I think. She was also the features director of Vogue India. She is a graduate of Columbia's journalism school and was a Hawthornden writing fellow in 2019. The Illuminated is her first novel. And here is what I also discovered about her today. She has a fantastic website called ananditaghosh.com in which you can see a moon, literally a moon bouncing between margins, which is pretty cool. So I was like,
Which I
wow.
made myself. I'm really proud of it. I made this
No.
website with little supervision from two people, but side gig because writers don't really make much money. So if anyone wants websites made, I can come on board as a consultant and make some flying objects on your
Yes.
website.
That's amazing. I think we should get in touch with her also, no? Don't you think?
Yeah,
Anuya?
we
Maybe
need
we'll do
one.
her in our next lifetime. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to the channel. And Anandita, we're very happy we're doing this live with you. And just to remind you guys, the contest is very much on. If you have just joined in, we're asking two questions about the book. One is name the names of the two female protagonists in the novel, and what is the full form of MSS. We might just give the prize to a third person who knows, but let's play anyway. Okay, Anuya, why don't you ask the first question?
Sure, since we have not taken the name of the book at all,
Oh, yeah.
I think our first question should be about the book, which we are all reading and loving. Anandita, I must say, I'm not done with it, but I love it. And if I have to pick between Shashi and Tara, I pick Shashi. Okay, just putting it out there. But Sharon, we can't hear you. What you
Oh,
said?
why?
Oh, you
Nothing. I
mouthed
said
it.
I also love Shashi
You're also
Tara.
Shashi, but you know what the funny part is? We've been discussing this book with other readers, and they pick Tara, which I think is always awesome because it means everybody's engaged and everybody has diverse opinions. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Let's talk about the Illuminated. Anandita, can you tell our readers who don't know anything about the book just a little bit about it so that they know why they should buy it immediately? By the way, one second. If you guys want to buy the Illuminated, it's in the link in the description box. Okay, so go ahead and click on that so that HarperCollins gives us more authors to talk to. Okay, Anandita, go.
So, authors tend to be terribly verbose, but I will try to keep this as short as possible so that, people here can hear more of you as well. So, in short, The Illuminated has two protagonists, mother and daughter. Shashi is the mother, Tara is the daughter. And the idea is so there is this very charismatic, very successful, dazzling male figure, the patriarch of the house, called Robi Malik. It's not a spoiler because it's in all the blurbs. He dies on page 1. So the idea is how does his wife and his daughter, how do they kind of emerge into their own? How do they find their own light? There's a powerful kind of lunar metaphor through the book. So all the men are named after the sun, the women have kind of names after the moon and stars. So it's about when the sun is gone, how does the moon find its own light? There is an extreme right-wing organization called MSS, whose name I will not reveal right now because it's part of the contest, as Sharin said. But so there's MSS that is throwing up all these challenges, that wants to control how women should live, love, eat, what they should wear. And, there are other kind of lots of other things being thrown up in the society and country they're in at the moment. And it's about these women kind of emerging into their own and finding their own light and their own truth, so to say.
I wonder what the MSS is based on.
Yeah.
That's a hard one, actually. Yeah.
I don't know. There is no
I don't know.
that you can
There are
draw.
no it's unparalleled.
None. Okay. Okay, that's wonderfully put. I really enjoyed the metaphor of the sun and the moon and the stars throughout the novel. It really stitched the narrative together. But I'm curious, Anandita, how did the core of the book evolve for you? Because when you start reading it, as a story of a woman or women who are mourning the loss of the man in their life, right? Because the father was such a strong figure. And then eventually it becomes something else, something bigger. So talk me through how the story evolved over the years, and how long did it take you to write this novel?
So I actually know, the day I started thinking about the story, I was at the Mountain Echoes Lit Fest at Bhutan, where I saw you guys, I think last year or last year, but this was in 2015. And Janice Pariat, who I didn't know well before that, I still don't know her very well, but I met her at the festival. We seemed to be the only two young women at the festival that year, so we clung to each other. And on one of the days, we were kind of walking around, looking for tea. Because I think she wanted tea, it was cold, I wanted tea, and we just actually couldn't find tea. It was like a 2-hour kind of walk. We finally found tea, and then I had to leave from there for the airport. On the kind of cab ride back to the airport, I started thinking about this story, because at the festival, Janice had spoken. She's a very eloquent speaker, and she had spoken really beautifully. Somebody had said, tell us about the process of writing, and she had said that sometimes when you're writing fiction, you know the destination, but sometimes you can only see what the headlights reveal. And I think, most of us who are features journalists, Sharin, you've been a journalist. Most of us who are in journalism, especially in the feature space, are there because we like writing. We do, perhaps many of us wanted to be, writers at some point, but then you're doing a job. I always wanted to write a novel, but being a journalist, I was more drawn to, I was getting commissioned a lot of nonfiction stories, and I was dragging my feet on it. Because I thought, what's the point? I'm just doing this Monday to Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, I'll again work on a nonfiction book. So I was just, dragging my feet, not really pushing myself. And then I started thinking about the story, started thinking about what Janice had said. And I realized that I think writing a book, writing fiction is what I really want to do. And the image that came to me at that point was the first chapter. It was this woman who has suffered a great loss, but all she wants to do is have a cup of tea. Now, I wonder if I was influenced by my own material needs that day, but that was the image. And I think stories for me do start with an image. I'm very visual as a thinker. I watch a lot of movies, so it starts with an image or a very specific emotion. So I think it was this woman who is seeking tea, but the tea is not just a cup of tea. It's not just chai patti and water. It's everything that she wants for herself. So her husband has died, but what she needs at that moment is the tea, and it's possibly a symbol for many other things that she's missed out on or that she needs. And I hung on to that first chapter for almost 2 years. I kept trying to write it as a short story. I submitted it everywhere possible, and I got really kind rejections. People said it's really good writing, but it's not it's not a story. This is the start of something. And I think then I kind of stretched it out to a novel because yeah, it wasn't a story. It was just this woman looking for tea. It didn't have an end, which a short story kind of needs, an end. So that's how it started, and yeah, then it's been a 5-year journey. After HarperCollins signed me on, it was one whole year of edits. So I would say it's been 6 years of living with the Illuminated, which is why I'm really happy that it's out in the world right now because I love Shashi and Tara, but I mean, I can't hang out with them anymore.
It's great because we get to hang out with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
enjoy. Yes.
That's awesome. Now that we know the origin story of this book, I want to ask you about the cover, okay, which I think is gorgeous. Uh, let's talk about the sun, moon, stars, metaphors, the name of the novel, and the story of this cover. And I just want to show you guys, okay, when you open this, it's oh no, it's that's happening. But there are these three little silver dots which I have been playing with like a cat and a laser beam since they have come into my
Oh,
life. Yeah, and my first question was, Anandita, why is this whole thing not silver? Because anyway, this book cover has holes in it. So that have been more practical.
That would have been a bit expensive, for HarperCollins. I think printing silver for this. But the idea is also, I've been asked a lot if I was going for a mother-daughter story because, as you guys know, last couple of years in India, lots of mother-daughter stories, right? But for me, The Illuminated is not so much a mother-daughter story. It's really a story of women. It's a story of a collective of women. That's why the cover for me, it's about, half moons, full moons, different colors. It's about women coming together in various stages of illumination. And then when you open it, I mean, they found their illumination, so they are full moons. So for me, it's a story about women coming together. They happen to be mother-daughter because that was one way for me to show two very different perspectives, two different kind of layers of privilege. Shashi is somebody who comes from a relatively modest background, who's married into privilege. So her worldview is different, and Tara is somebody who's a spoiled, super bratty daddy's girl of a very successful national award-winning father. So her worldview is different. So yeah, that was the idea. If you're asking about the cover design, also Anuya, I was very keen. I realized. I mean, I've been reading books, also commissioning stories on books. I haven't really been a book reviewer, but I've been engaged with the publishing space for as long as I've been a journalist. And you might have noticed, of course, that there is a lot of coding, even internationally in the publishing world. So African authors have a baobab tree on their cover; it's a given. Asian authors will have some kind of red or some kind of chopsticks or some kind of calligraphy. So books by women, especially debut women, I think it was just understood that it would be pink, purple, there would be some landscape, some kind of mantika or nail polish, jewelry, silhouette of face. So those were some of the early options. And because my book is so much about women coming to their own and gender and identity, I was very keen. Most of the early reader feedback I had also was from young women who all identify with Tara actually. I had thought they'll all like Shashi, but interestingly, it's all, even all books journalists are women in their early 20s, right, in India. So they're all like, we love Tara, go Tara, we should be understood. So I already knew that women would be reading the book. Anyway, majority of fiction readers, in India and actually in the world are women. I wanted 50 and 60-year-old men to read the book as well. For me, that would be making a difference. I want them to read and grasp some of the anger in the book because unknowingly it kind of became an angry book. So I felt I wanted men to read it. So I wanted my cover to be gender neutral. I wanted it to be a cover that could belong to a Philip Roth book or a Jonathan Franzen book. Why should the cover for my book be pink? Because I'm a woman. I love pink. I'm wearing pink, blue, whatever. There's pink at the bottom. So I have no problem with it, but I didn't want to kind of subscribe to this coding of women's books or a very light, white, fairy floating cover. So we kind of went with it. And I had a great time working on the cover. I'm quite interested in design with Bonita, who is the HarperCollins chief designer. So there was a lot of to and fro, lots of options, and we finally kind of all agreed on this. So it was a great experience, actually. There was a lot of thought that went into it. I mean, it was exciting.
That's really
awesome.
cool. Yeah, that's really cool to hear about all the effort that goes into the design of the book, because that's
All the
that's really the
BTS.
first experience. As much as we say don't judge a book by its cover, let's face it, we all judge a book by its cover first. We want it to look and represent a certain emotion, which is why we pick it up in the first place, right? So I really appreciate the amount of effort that you've put in. I'm curious about what you said about, older men also picking up the book and reading it, and not just, putting it in a label saying that this is women's fiction. Have you gotten any feedback from male readers who have picked up the book, and have you heard anything from that perspective?
So, well, I'll start with my father, who is 73, so he's older than even the demographic I was going for. My father, very sweetly, he of course had an early copy, but every time we've met, he's steadfastly maintained that I have read till page 150, because I think he doesn't want to accept that his daughter has written about sex. So we've kept this kind of this
Of course.
lie. It's a very dignified lie that we're dancing around. Every time we meet, every time we speak, we do end up speaking about the book. And he's like, I've read till page 150. But interestingly, he did post in all his alumni groups. He went to IIT, their alumni groups are very strong. All of his friends have read the book, and I was quite, and they've sent feedback saying we thought it was like Anuradha Roy, it reminded us of Leela, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know 73-year-old men in Calcutta and Delhi and California were reading Anuradha Roy and Prayag Akbar. I was quite impressed. So apart from my father and my uncle's, cohorts aside, I think the bar for men reading books is so low now. I mean, I was even just so pleasantly happy that men were reviewing the book, because honestly, even that I hadn't expected. So one of a review that I thought was a very erudite and a very introspective review. I'm not just saying because I'm not picking out reviews on the basis of good or bad, because after some time praise gets boring. So you like reviews based on how much they are digging, what they are talking about. So Utkaran Dasgupta in The Wire was the first male reviewer, and I'm like, wow, grown-up men are reviewing the book. So I'm saying the bar is so low that even that was interesting. Then it was reviewed by a political journalist in News Laundry also, who unfortunately reviewed the book as non-fiction. But still, I was happy that a senior political reviewer was reviewing the
How?
book.
I mean, that you totally got there when they are wrong.
Whole review was about the politics of the book, and it said, why does it not have the other side, this side, that side? And I was like, but it's fiction. I mean, I wouldn't quit being the editor of a magazine, a job that I really love, to write fiction, to try to be journalistic, right? It's fiction.
Yeah.
The whole deal is that I don't need two sides. I can do whatever I want. It's my book. So that was interesting. But no, there have been a fair number of, I think, even Naved Anjum in the New Financial Express. So men are reviewing the book, and like I said, the bar is so low that even that seems like a first. I mean, that's made me happy also.
That's awesome.
That's fascinating.
I just want to take a moment to thank Arvind Mehra. Thank you, Arvind, for the super chat. Appreciate it, guys. We have super chats now, so if you want to give us money, you can give us. I feel like such a.
Please give us money.
Apparently, this is what they do in
I am
life.
asked to give us, please give money.
So, give us money. I guess.
I knew.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to cut off this, guys, because as I said, writers aren't paid.
Now you have to just draw a few moons for us. We'll give you.
Yeah, we'll buy your book instead of just having half.
Yeah,
a
we'll buy your book.
How about that? We'll buy the copy. Okay. Okay. I wanted to ask you, Anindita, what I really loved about the book was the great detail in which you went every time you spoke about a character. You really brought them to life as living, breathing people in front of my eyes when I was reading them. So I wanted to ask you, how did you build these characters? What kind of character study did you do? Did you have a process, or did you like model them as per people that you knew? Basically, are there real life Taras and Shashis like floating around in the world, unaware that they have been co-opted into the Illuminated?
Illuminated.
Yeah, let's talk about the characters and how you brought them to life.
So just to be clear, I won't get into a cat person like controversy, and no one can accuse me of borrowing exactly from their life. That's not going to happen. But a bunch of people have asked about, say, what kind of research went into the book, right? Because there is, say, Sanskrit research or philosophy, and that's active research that you do for writing a book. Of course, research for a non-fiction book is more methodical, is more different. Here, you can read how much you want. You don't necessarily have to attribute all the research in fiction as well. But I think the kind of research that goes into fleshing out characters or scenes, that is research that writers do all their life. I think you are possibly a certain kind of person. Writers are that kind of annoying people who eavesdrop at conversations, make notes. I've now, after my first book is out, I've really even become this super annoying person who sits like with a notepad and pen and writes, makes notes even when I'm watching TV. It's really annoying for the other people watching TV with me because I pause, I write down lines. My husband calls me a literary magpie because now I've got, lines, dialogues, outfits, everything from even what kind of necklace would, a Yale grad wear at her graduation, things like that. So I think now I'm doing it more nerdily and actually in a writing pad because I know I'm probably now I can write more books. But for this book, I think all the research, Anuya, it's just research that psychologically you've kind of just done all your life. And I think it's a writer's job to be the kind of observer who looks beyond uh, what the average person would look at. So if somebody enters a room and you describe that person journalistically, the questions you ask as a journalist is, age, name, what they were wearing, maybe, or where they sat. If you're doing a long form narrative piece, in a news piece, you'll just say name and age. But a writer is looking at, how they were breathing or which corner of the room they sat in, and did they take off their slippers and did they cross their hands, and why does Sharin have her hands on her chin right now, and are you all hearing each other? So I think that's just something that's probably just who you are as a writer. It's subconscious research.
I look forward to emerging as a character in the next book.
I knew she was going to say this.
Book. Like she was sitting there with bangs. Then,
Your
that's
character will constantly have bangs or be
yeah.
on the lookout for bangs. One point she uses her bangs. Never mind. Okay, but that makes a lot of sense what you're saying, Anandita. I think it's one of the cons of being a journalist that you're constantly observing, but as a writer, you become a little bit more manic, which is a great thing to be, I think. So amazing job. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about the political element of the book. By the way, guys, if you've just joined in, we are running a contest and giving away 2 copies of The Illuminated by Anindita Ghose. The 2 questions you must get right and also stay on and have conversations with us is, what are the names of the 2 protagonists in the novel, and what is the full form of MSS? Okay? Okay, coming to my question. The political element of the book, Ananta, is MSS, which is Mahalakshmi Seva Sangh. So I love the description of the organization. I love the pamphlets that you have drawn into the book as well. They add like so much to the novel as well. And a lot of authors have tried to bring out similar organizations to life in previous fiction that we've read over the last 2-3 years. I don't even want to go back, right? So, but yours clearly has a focus on women. So, tell us more about what MSS is and the role of the organization in the novel for you.
Right. So MSS, as you've already mentioned, the full form once is Mahalakshmi Seva Sangh. It starts off as a volunteer organization, starts off really small, that seeks to protect women and help women. The reason that I chose to go with posters because I kind of didn't, there was anyway a lot happening, too many characters to follow. I didn't want to kind of populate or pollute the narrative with long descriptions of MSS. So one thing that we did, Sharon, was also I wanted to show the growth of the organization by an articulation in the poster design. So actually, the early posters are more simple. They're just lists. Then you add a logo. Then they have a website. So it gets more articulated. And the idea was that by seeing how how much more detailed the posters are getting. The logo isn't there, in the first two, for instance. You also understand that parallel to the narrative of the book, this organization is also getting stronger. As with so much that we see around us, I think it's kind of the insidious growth of MSS, is a reflection of something that we've all been speaking about so much in the last few years, that, the world, you slowly change the world, one small step at a time, one thing at a time, and suddenly you wake up and so much has changed. So MSS and its growth is very insidious through the book, because they just start off with like clothing and, food and, innocent, supposedly innocent stuff like that. But by the end of it, they are determining that, intercaste marriage is bad, or that women can't live alone, etc. So I think it's kind of a composite of many fundamentalist organizations around the world, but definitely also, some that we've seen in India. I wouldn't say it's based on one, but like Atwood has said about her kind of dystopic elements, right? That nothing in her books, nothing in Handmaid's Tale or her other books is something that has not occurred somewhere in the world. So similarly, I feel there's nothing that MSS is claiming, whether it's women not living alone or women not doing certain jobs. It's real. At some part of the world, maybe even in some part of India, for sure, actually, some part of India, there are organizations that are saying these things. This just grows through the book to become from a chota volunteer organization to something that is now has the power to pass bills in parliament. So, yeah. And the rest, I won't insult, the reader's intelligence by kind of spelling out too much, but stuff that we are seeing and we will see the way things are going, right? More of.
I particularly found the Gomutra parts very, very fascinating and interesting. They just add so much like humor into the novel. But tell me, during your research, what were the most like strangest facts that you found about Gomutra and its uses that you could really take?
Yeah, also because I'm a journalist, I didn't want to be factually incorrect and, kind of randomly make fun of Gomutra popping if it was legit. So I was, towards the end stages of this book, I was actually staying at this 97-year-old yoga ashram, which has a very strong Ayurveda program. I caught any Ayurvedic doctor there that I could, like just stop them in their tracks and fact check this with them. Doc, can you pop Gomutra at any time? Is it good for you? Because, I think this Gomutra craze is going down a bit now. But some of you might have seen pineapple flavored Gomutra, right? That went viral. There was pineapple and I think guava flavored Gomutra being sold. There were Gomutra parties, guys, during COVID where people got together and just drank Gomutra. So I'm not anti-Ayurveda or, anti-Indian traditions. I do believe that there are some really sensible aspects of Ayurvedic diet. So that's why I asked proper Ayurvedic doctors, and all of them told me, like I've asked at least 18 Ayurvedic specialists, that Gomutra cannot be indiscriminately gulped by anyone. Because like everything has a certain property. So Gomutra has a certain, astringent property. It can be prescribed medicinally to a certain kind of person for their ailment. You cannot be, this is a PSA, guys, you cannot be just drinking Gomutra randomly. You cannot be going to a Gomutra party. It's not okay. So, right. So I'm not anti-Gomutra, but this whole fetishization or this whole trendy Gomutra, party aspect of it is what I did fact check, and it's not for everyone. You cannot be drinking.
I just want to say
that okay. 1 spoon is okay is what the doctor.
Oh no, really?
Chammach peena hai. I said, nahi, mujhe nahi peena. Bas puchna tha. 1 spoon is okay, guys, but parties are just no.
Oh my god!
I'm just really enjoying the comment section right now. It's really funny.
But
I just want to say
you should share the flavored Gomutra image. It really was. In fact, I'll have it on my phone somewhere. So while you ask me,
if you want to flavor Gomutra, Do you feed the
Don't
cow
have it.
that flavor, or do you add that flavor after it's been
Never
ejected?
mind. Oh my God. I don't know how. But
I'm just
Anindita
asking
will
a
answer as
question.
the
Is that
expert.
a question, guys? Well,
Do you?
I made a like a, I kind of have like all my Gomutra research in one folder. So here,
Wow.
She has
this is
I'm just very amused
see
that
this
she
the
has a folder called Gomutra.
this is
That's
the
the
Gomutra.
that's
Is this visible or is there too much flash?
Go a little behind. Go. Take your phone a little. Okay, now take it in the front again. This is not working.
Anyway, guys, this is
Only we haven't consumed
Gomutra,
Gomutra, so our brain cells are not working aptly enough. That's what's happened.
and this is orange and pineapple Gomutra flavor. I will send this to you.
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
please. Yes, yes. And I'm
Indian
just
Books has the best comment. Can't have it because it's not vegan. That's correct. It's not vegan. Can't have it.
I can't have it. Yeah, that's why you can't have it. That
That's
is why.
exactly the reason.
That's the reason. Okay, I just because of the way you've spelled it Gomutre, right? In the book, it's go mutra. So every time I read it, I went go mutra, like like
Because
it's
it's
sure.
registered, right? That's trademark. So it's Gomutra TM every time it's
Yeah,
mentioned.
yeah, yeah.
There's Gomutra. Very enterprising about it, and they've kind of registered it. So it's available in like those little sachets, like that Pan Parag ad, Baratiyo ka swagat, Pan Parag se kare. So that's how I imagine, like, what's his name? Sergi, who visits the Sevak, the kind of orphanage where Shashi works, the juvenile home. I imagine him carrying this long string of sachets and giving it out to people as a party favor.
Mm. Sergi also killed Hrithik Roshan in Kauna Pyare. I'm just. Anyway, moving on. Moving on, Anandita, the one thing that we try to do in every episode of Books on Toast is that we try to leave our audience with lots of reading recommendations. Now, one though they already have. It's the book we haven't mentioned at all in this whole video. It's called The Illuminated. So that's book number one to read, you guys. But let's talk about what we are all reading right now and some of your favorite books. But let's
Yeah.
start with what are you reading right now, Anandita?
Right now,
That
so I actually just got Namita Gokhale's The Blind Matriarch, and I was about to kind of start that today. But a person that I kind of a writer that who's been around for a really long time, but I just discovered during the pandemic because it was a time to kind of since I quit my journalism job, I no longer had the pressure to read all the new books that were out, so I could read whatever I wanted, which is great. So somebody that I've really been enjoying recently is Clarice Lispector. She's a Brazilian writer who wrote in Portuguese, and she's written a lot of short fiction as well, a lot of essays as well. So those could be, early starting points for whoever wants to just get a taste of her. But her last book, her last novel, which kind of is her magnum opus, is called The Hour of the Star, and it's really beautiful. It's very moody, and I'm really taking my time with it. As in, I started reading it some weeks ago, but it's a kind of read that I'm kind of really enjoying, a slow read. So I'm reading that now. I'm doing an audiobook of Rachel Cusk's Second Place, which
Ah.
isn't doing very well for me. So because I keep because it's so kind of stream of consciousness. Every time I start it again, I go back. Maybe I should switch, not do it on audio. I think maybe I should do it on read it on the Kindle. And something that I just finished, literally like I think 2 days ago, was My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh, which I felt was very appropriate for maybe many people during COVID. So that's what I was reading. I also felt like while I was writing, I consciously stayed away from reading a lot of the new books, even including some really wonderful ones. So I was catching up on a lot of that reading recently. So in fact, even Latitudes of Longing, which is written by a writer friend, I only read it maybe like a couple of months ago because I didn't want to read other new books when I was writing. So I read that recently, and I just think it's not just because she's one of the blurbers of my book, but I truly feel it's one of the best new books. It just really transported me. I really feel it's one of the best things I've read, in the last couple of years. It was really wonderful. And I know you guys were there at the launch, so I'm sure you
Yeah,
liked it as well.
we
So
love that book. I mean, no, like when you know people as people and then you know them as authors, it's a very different feeling. You don't know that this person had this inside her, and you're like, "What is this amazing book?" So yeah,
That
it
also
was.
happens when they give birth, and you're like, I didn't know she had this inside her.
and one just a recommendation, because it was recommended to me and I just found that it really changed. It was like something I've never read before and was fascinating. Was I've been reading some feminist horror fiction and feminist
Oh,
sci-fi recently, which was just fascinating. So there's Carmen Maria Machado, who wrote Her Body and Other Parties. She won the Folio Prize, I think, maybe 3 years ago. So more people have heard of her. She's American, but it's a book of short stories. It's just crazy. And I was also introduced to this Nigerian feminist horror writer called Leslie Neka Arima, and a lot of her stuff is actually available. You might not get the full books, you might not get the books in bookstores, but you can
Oh,
actually find a lot of Leslie, I mean, bookstores in India, because I don't think it's out here, but a lot of Leslie Neka Arima's writing is just available online, because she's been writing short stories for journals and publications. And oh my god, like these two women, it's like nothing I'd read before, and it really shifted something in me. It was really fascinating. I think I'll be terrible at horror or sci-fi, so I'm not going to go there, but I'm just gulping it all down, and it's really good. I think you all will enjoy it as well.
yeah, this sounds like
awesome.
great recommendation. I'm totally going to pick up. I think Her Body and Other Parts I've seen floating around, so it sounds fascinating.
Yeah,
Parties. Yeah.
Sharon likes
See
reading
cover
horror.
as well. It's got a kind of crazy, very, this woman with this kind of very dismembered body on the cover,
Oh,
and fluorescent green. So it's very sexy cover as well. So I really recommend the two of them. And here your friend Sant Reads is doing very good work by spelling out everything and helping everyone. So that's
yes,
great.
that's good. Sant reads
Shout out
forever.
to Smriti.
Smriti, of
Woohoo! Yeah, yeah. She's practically
doing.
books almost anyway, so
Yeah, I know. Okay, I think we should go to the game. So, guys, if you guys, by the way, have any questions for Anandita, please put them in the comment section and we'll get to them. We'll get to all of them if we can. But till then, till you guys think of questions, let's play a game. And the game we've decided to play with Anandita so that you guys can get to know her better and so can we get to know her better is called Two Truths and One Lie. Okay. So basically, Anandita has to give us three facts about herself. And then Anoya and I have to guess which one of those are lie, which one of them is a lie, and which other are actually true. And if you guys want to also guess, please do. Okay. So come on, Anandita, tell us three facts
Yes, so
about
what I've done is I have written these down so that I can maintain a straight face and not betray any, hesitation or emotion. I've been very professional about this. So now you're going to see my poker face and I'm going to read them out. And let's see how you'll do. So I have never read any of the Harry Potter books or watched any of the Harry Potter movies. One. Two, I participated in the Himalayan Rally in 2013, the first year that women were allowed to participate as a navigator in an all-women team. Three, I scored 140 in the Stanford Binet test and qualified for Mensa. Two truths and one lie, read out with a straight face.
Okay. Okay.
what was the second one? Can you please
So
give
second
The
one is
Himalayan
I
Rally.
participated in the Himalayan Rally in 2013, the first year that women were allowed to participate as a navigator and an all-women team. I'll repeat the other two as well. I have never read any of the Harry Potter books or watched any of the Harry Potter movies. Three, I scored 140 in the Stanford Binet test and qualified for Mensa.
Okay. So we can ask follow-up questions, right? To figure out.
What?
So,
No,
No, rubbish. Of course not.
no, we can. One question. I feel like I know which one is the
Okay,
truth.
one
At least.
Just guess, Sharon.
question for each of the facts,
Okay.
right? One
Okay.
allowed.
Okay,
One.
fine. So the second fact that you told us about yourself, that you participated in the 2013 Himalayan rally as a navigator, did you have to write about it as a journalist?
Did I have to write about it? No, I
Yes.
participated purely as somebody who wanted to participate the first year that women were allowed, because I follow F1 and I'm quite interested in racing and rallies.
Okay. Okay. I feel like that could be that is one of the truths. So I'm calling that one out as the true fact about you.
She can't say anything right now till you guess the lie.
I have a poker face, guys. I'm really good at this. I play
Poker
poker.
face. हाँ.
Okay. No, you can.
Ask
I'll
a
ask.
few more questions. I'm very generous like that. You can ask a
I'll
question
ask.
about the other two also.
Who is your favorite Harry Potter character? Is it Harry or is it Rob?
Harry.
That was a trick question, but I have failed clearly.
What is this question?
I'm hungry. My brain short circuits when I'm hungry, and that was one of
But
those.
I just wanted to break and Sharin read out some comments here. Sister Sharin is so beautiful. She does not get her dues.
All right. Okay. Super random. Thanks.
Isn't that a song?
I don't know. Is it?
I
Could be. Okay.
huh.
I think maybe. Okay. I don't know. I don't even understand the third one. I'm not intellectually there. What third?
I scored 140 in the Stanford Binet test and qualified for Mensa. So to qualify for Mensa, there are a whole host of accepted IQ tests. Stanford Binet is one of them.
You have to qualify for Mensa to understand that question. Like it's that.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. You know, it's one of those. Okay.
You know.
Yeah. I think the first one is a lie, Sharon.
Even
It
I
could
think
be,
first
yeah.
one is a lie. Come on,
Yeah.
Anindita. You have to
No,
get us out of
actually, I think the second one is a lie. I changed my answer.
Do I win anything if I like? Am I getting something for fooling y'all, or do y'all win something if you guess correctly? Like, do we just clap? Like,
We clap.
what are we getting from this?
Eternal love and
Lord.
adulation.
No, we
Yeah.
just get bragging
We'll buy
rights.
a
That's
second book also. That's
we'll buy a second book. Okay.
So, what is the answer, guys?
second.
No, I think it's first. First is a lie. Second
Okay,
and
you
third.
can tell us which one is correct.
So the Harry Potter one is a truth. I have never read any of the Harry Potter books. I have no idea what Rob was, but I was sure that Harry is in the book. That's why I said Harry. And he seems to be like the hero and the lead. And Mensa is also true. Himalayan Rising is not true. Himalayan Rising is not true. I thought I'll make it so detailed that it will appear like the truth.
That's how. Yeah.
That's what. I can't even drive. They would not let me like anywhere near a rally. Sure, even as a navigator.
That is what gave it away. There was so much detailing that I'm like, isme gadbad hai. Ye, that is how you know, Sharon. Come on, you've read enough. That's the lie. That's all.
You are used to frequently lying, and our friend Sharon is like a truthful, good person.
Yes. I can be fooled.
I will never play cards with you, Sharon, with you in my team, because you will not be good at lying.
Yeah, that's not happening. It's okay. I really thought it was true. Never mind. It's okay. I'm not going to go there.
Whatever, I win. So Sharon can be good. I don't care.
Okay.
Clap for us.
Okay. Now what?
Do you want
Sharon?
I think we should close this loop. Anuya, why don't you give 3 facts about yourself and we'll try to guess.
Sure. Okay. Are you guys ready? Okay.
Yeah.
The first fact about me is that I once stole beer from a bar in Delhi when I thought no one was looking, and I didn't get caught. Okay. The second one is I have eaten snail, pig brain, jellyfish, and silkworm. Okay. And the third one is that I have gone to a strip club in Vegas and received a lap dance from a woman named Ilana. You do all beautiful things. I do all this shit.
Third one is a lie, because again, too many details give it away. Woman named Ilana. That would be my guess.
Or
But
maybe
when,
she's anticipating it and like making it sound like it's a lie, but it's actually fact. We don't know.
Who
What do you
knows?
think?
what is your guess, Sharon? Are you guessing or you know her too well?
I'm retired hurt at this point. I feel like I feel like second is a lie. There are too many things to eat in that plate.
Pig brain, snail, jellyfish, and silkworm.
I've never heard of people eating pig brain though. You like goat brain, yes, but pig brain I haven't.
Where did you eat all this? Did you all eat
I
it at
can't tell
one
you.
place?
Oh, you have to ask me. Acha. No,
Yeah.
I haven't eaten it all at one place. What do you think? I just went to the jungle and shoved shit in my mouth, or what did I
You
do?
never know. Sometimes you can do weird things when you're hungry. So
That is true, though. That's true. Can't argue there. Which okay, so what are your final answers? सही जवाब क्या है? आजकल मैं KBC देख रही हूँ दोस्तों. It's true. Yeah.
I
I'll
think
go with
I'm changing my answer. I think the first one is a lie because it's so like obvious.
what is the first fact?
Beer, she
I
stole
once stole
Ah,
beer from a
that's
bar in Delhi.
too easy, so I'm changing that to the lie.
Sharon, what about you?
I could be wrong, but I think it's true. But I don't know. Maybe it's one. I don't know. Actually, you just tell us. It's one.
I'll put Sharon out of her misery. It's one. I didn't steal
Wow.
from in Delhi. I stole in Goa, friends.
But great, we were both right.
Hello.
I'm very proud, and Sharon, you redeemed yourself. And I just want to read out an insult that somebody has typed here. Indian Cooks and Books has said she sits with a notebook to watch TV. Himalayan trekkers probably don't watch TV. Just to
Wow.
Himalayan treks, we were talking about rally, like extreme race car driving. I have gone on treks and I do sit with a notebook. Both things are possible. You can
Yeah,
be
what is stereotyping, huh?
and go to fashion magazine. You can be nerdy and go on treks, So yeah, it's possible. Indian Cooks and Books.
I ate pig brain in Vietnam since you asked me where I ate
Wow,
pig brain.
really
Yeah,
never heard of big brain.
it's delicious.
Was it
It's better
was
than
it
goat
fried?
brain.
Was it fried?
Yes,
Sounds like awfully.
there was a cooking class where they were like, there was an entire section called weird meats, and the story behind that was that in the war, during the war, when rations were limited, the Vietnamese sort of looked to nature for sustenance, and instead of eating leaves, they ate. I mean, they were literally like trying to figure out what can we keep, how do we take what we have and turn that into something delicious. And so they started eating all these different types of food. And so there was a whole thing called Weird and Wonderful Foods and all the preparations that they made with this stuff. Pig brain was delicious. Jellyfish was gross as hell. And snail is just like whatever. It's like I want to be chicken, but I will not make the effort. Like it's that. But yeah,
Snail is
Vietnam is
big,
delicious.
right? In France, like frog and
Yes.
snail. So I thought
Yeah.
snail might be great and nice.
Escargot. Escargot. Yeah, fancy, but you're eating snail. But yes, that's the story behind that. But pig brain is delicious. I really liked it. Anyway, moving on, Sharon, your turn.
Okay, I have only three facts and I will rattle them out very quickly so that you guys can't pause to see what I'm thinking. I didn't have a name till I was 1 year old, so people would just call me by sounds. I was once called Aila Madhuri Dixit by Salman Khan, and I have been busted by cops twice.
So obviously, Salman Khan doesn't know who you are. Yeah.
What's the second
What?
one, Sharon?
I was once called Aila Madhuri Dixit by Salman Khan.
Actually, you're a journalist, so maybe it's possible. And
And the
I do.
hair and stuff, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The hair and all. You have this Madhuri vibe, maybe.
She does. I call her Madhuri all the time.
Busted by cops twice is the lie.
That depends. Uh,
Oh, we can
I
ask
think-
a question. What were you busted
Yeah.
for?
So once I was busted for just parked on the side of a road in Chandigarh and smoking a cigarette. So cops came and said, "Hey, smack, smack, smack." I'm like, "What smack?" and the other time was when I jumped a red light.
That's not busted.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
fair.
I came from it's called busted.
Uh, you're
So
a
I
busted.
think Madhuri one is true for sure. Now this cop one also seems quite doable, like cigarette and jump light. So maybe the first is a lie. That's my final answer.
I think the third is a lie because she's dealt with cops more than twice, for sure. Yeah. Oh, Sharon, she's naughty. Yeah, this one, very
Not.
naughty. Yeah.
Okay, should I tell you? Should I make the big reveal?
Yes, please.
Yeah, you're right, Noya. It's the third one. I've been busted by 15 times.
Oh, wow, good.
So yeah, that's
But
happening.
but you know what? I mean, I mean, I've hung out with her enough now to be able to know this. Ki Sharon has been embroiled with cops multiple times, so I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's
okay.
not
I'm very
proven.
excited. But it's true. I didn't have a name till I was 1 year old. At what point my parents were like, okay, maybe she's reacting to weird sounds. We should give her a name. So yeah.
Yeah. After a
So
while, they got tired of, hey, idara.
yeah, they're like, oh, what's this weird thing? Okay. Okay, cool. So
Okay.
I think we should announce the winners of the giveaway.
Yes.
So yeah.
So do we have a private side discussion, or do I just say
Just
this?
Just choose.
Okay, so Amia Roy for sure, for being consistently engaged and also guessing all of our lies and truths correctly before we did. Also helping others by filling in. And I think it's a tough call between Surabhi and Sanya, but I will go with Surabhi this time.
Yay! Congratulations, winners.
Surbi and Namya, congratulations. You guys have done a fantastic job in talking to us non-stop. So that's why you
I think your video is breaking.
my video.
Huh. Sharon's.
Okay.
Okay, Survi
Okay.
and Ramya, please send your details to booksontoast@gmail.com, your name, your address with zip code and phone number. Okay, we'll send you the books.
And a special mention to Sant Reads for being our kind of chat window angel today. But
Yeah.
maybe I've already read the book, so.
That's
Chat
awesome.
window,
Okay, great. Huh?
chat window angel is a great name.
Yeah, and next conversation you can be chat window angel, Smriti.
Why next? Yeah, Smriti can be chat window angel. That is it. True. Okay, awesome.
So thank you guys. This was a great way to spend a lockdown, Friday evening. I hope the others had as much fun as we did. Thanks so much. This was great. Thank you. Look forward to your other videos.
Thank you, Anindita. We had a blast, and we obviously we loved your book. I mean, I am halfway through, like I said, but it has been unputdownable for me. Like, I have been looking forward to wrapping up work so that I can finish reading this book. So everybody, buy the Illuminated, okay? And share this video if you like this video. Of course, subscribe to the Books on Toast channel. Duh. And also, we look forward to more comments in the comment section once this video is not just a live, but also a video. And now I'm going to go eat because I'm very hungry. Okay. Sharon, you
Okay,
have.
so yeah, thank you, Anandita, for joining us. It's been lovely talking to you and learning more about the story behind the novel. Story behind the Illuminated is also more fascinating for us as readers to discover what our authors are thinking when they're writing beautiful pieces of fiction that we love. And I love the Illuminated. I've read it twice. I have 2 copies of the Illuminated. I got one of the advanced copies, and then I got the official book, which I've left in Chandigarh for my mother to read. So I know my mother is in the comment section, and I hope you're reading it, Mama. Okay. I will
Book
call
is
for
dedicated to mothers and grandmothers, so it's nice that you left it for your mother. That's good.
Yeah.
we
How
should
cute.
all we should all
Yeah.
spread. Okay, thank you Nanta, thank you everybody for watching. Stay safe, get vaccinated, drink some
Wear
stuff,
mask,
folks.
drink some stuff.
Not
other thing. Okay.
that shall not be mentioned. I think we've done enough of a PSA on that today. But thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thanks so much, Anuya and Sharin.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.